Morning everybody, it's Sunday morning. I have a banana, I have a ridiculous costume, and we're ready to go with Bournemouth Half. And good news is it's raising money for our CMA gang, and we've got at least one more regular giver, though I'm hoping for more of the ridiculous photos and videos that will come out at the end of this. But actually it's a busy week for CMA guys, because yes, they're all on the conference, so I hope that went really well. And we got team photos of you having a coffee, so I hope there were some very wise words said and you picked up some good tips. It's a big week for CMA another way actually, because we've got the Blandford and Wimborne job, the team leader job for the CMA teams in Blandford and Wimborne. So the teams will be coming together to interview on Wednesday for that, so please pray. We got 3 great candidates, so pray for wisdom in that. And it made me think, actually, I was just seeing the story that Dawn and Tracy shared, and I watched last night the European Championships, and the men carrying the baton and the women dropping the baton. And actually what you guys do is you carry the baton thankfully and pass it on from one to another. I just thought it was a fabulous story of how the support that the folk in the Christchurch Food Bank gave to that family, and then they got help through the CMA team, and now we're hopefully able to get them into a Hope into Action house. It is such a lovely story of how we work together, and just huge thanks to all of you who've been involved in that story. And please pray that the family can actually, there's a little bit of stuff that we need to sort, but if it could be sorted, that would be amazing. And then be into our 3rd Hope into Action house. Which reminds me, have you got anybody else who you think might be able to invest in house number 4? Because David and I have got an investor breakfast on Thursday down at the Bridge House, I think it's called, the Bridge House Hotel in Longham. So please, if you know of anybody who might be interested, it's amazing how many people have got a little bit of cash stashed away, and even in these straitened times. So please invite them along for that. Just while we're talking about that, there's the warm spaces idea is really gathering momentum. I was just thinking, actually, the Christchurch Food Bank community meals, a great example of that. Every other Wednesday, I think Tracy and Sarah said they had 54 people coming to the last one, which is just extraordinary. And then Smile have had a community meal that they're running with the guys at Parkstone and the Parkstone Pantry, and it's again just a starting point, but every fortnight inviting families to come along. And Rachel was saying it was so lovely to see. It was a craft group over in one side, and there was a kids doing their homework somewhere else, and others playing board games, and that sort of feel of a safe space where people can come. It's really getting attractive. David and I had a long meeting with Lansdowne Church this week. We've got interest, or actually one church, Buckland Road Baptist, has already said that's what we're going to do. And so if you know of any churches like that, got that sheet, I'll send it around again. Please pass that on to them, and I think we're going to see a real thing where the churches working with ourselves here at Faithworks are going to be crucial to provide spaces this autumn. One other thing that happened last week was we had the trustee safeguarding update, and what was really encouraging, although we had 7 cases to look through, they were coming from all parts of the organisation, whether it be food banks or homelessness or recovery work or CMA work. And actually that's a good thing for us, because the more that we are willing to, if something doesn't look right, then report it up or escalate it up, that's a really positive move. And actually two of the cases were about suicide, people feeling suicidal. And so if you haven't yet jumped on the training that Claire's found through Dorset Mind, or the Mental Health Alliance, please do. There's a really short intro one, and then that leads on to a full day if you want to go further with it. So if that's something you haven't yet been able to make use of, then do shout. And what was great is we started to look at the health and safety issues there, and one person had put in a health and safety issue. So if you do have a little bang or something like that, or something falls on a toe or something like that, do let us know. And we got those accident books, please be writing them in there. This is about learning for the future, and we want to make sure we're doing the best we can to keep everybody safe. One thing we did recognise though last week, talking to the other project leaders, is COVID is on the rise, and there will be flu symptoms as well. So one thing that I would really ask you to do is to get the hand sanitizer out, really make it very visible to people. If you're having clubs or groups, get that around get that onto all the tables. And if you haven't got enough, we'll get some more centrally and get that out to you. But please look after yourselves as well. It's very confusing. Some of the support is a bit confusing, but what we're saying to people is talk to your line manager. If you have symptoms, obviously stay at home. If you don't have symptoms, then keep in touch touch with your line manager and we'll work out the best way of getting you back into work as soon as we can. So, this is it's a bit bright, isn't it? It's quite sunny for a run, which is not quite how I intended it. But there's a great verse that I was using this morning, which was in Matthew 5:14. If you read the Message version, it says, "You're here to be light, bringing out the God colours in the world." Well, it seems sort of suitable given the stripes we're wearing this morning. But pray that you'll be able to do that as well this week. Bring out the God colours in all of God's world and all the stuff that you're doing. Thank you so much, everybody. Keep going. See you at the other end.